Thank you, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure being here. In 2050, global population is projected to grow to 10 billion. Trade will double in real terms and quadruple in monetary terms, reaching 100 trillion US dollars. The goods produced, shipped, consumed will be equivalent to 20 billion tons. That's more that was produced, shipped, and consumed between 1950 and 1975. This is the new age of mankind. What we did in 25 years, we'll now do it 365 days. How are our present and past economic models going to deal and cope with this advancement? We will have to push beyond boundaries and unleash our limitless potential. What does that mean for me? For you? For the planet? I can tell you, we'll have to produce significantly more, less, pushing beyond boundaries, unleashing the limitless potential of information. Adam Smith said that the great objective of the political economy of every country is to increase the riches and power of that country. The world is fundamentally different today than it was in 1776. Is it not? But still the same. Scarce resources. In 2050, the world will be significantly different than it is today. But still the same. Scarce resources. We all want to have comfortable lives. Food, clothing, shelter, consumables, Netflix, online shopping. But not for 8 billion, 10 billion of us. For us to achieve this great political objective set by Adam Smith, our modern society will have to rethink how we use information and technology to improve the distribution of scarce resources on this planet, pushing beyond boundaries. The major question we'll have to ask ourselves is how will the information revolution ensure that the next 25 years is nothing like the past 25 years? Economics, as we know, and stated by Adam Smith, is a science of wealth which studies the process of production, consumption, and accumulation of wealth. This is driven by the factors of production: land, labor, capital, and enterprise. But there's a new factor that will connect all of these together in an absolutely new way. That's the X factor of information. With this new element, of course, information will be harnessed from the massive data pools, which we call big data, to create the new wealth of nations. We will have to deal with this new concept, the new frontier, the commodification of information. Can you tell me what you ate exactly 10 years ago to this day? Can anyone in this room tell me? You can. Raise your hand. Can you tell me what you ate every day, every week, every month, every year for the last 10 years? If you can, raise your hand. Can you tell me every item of clothing, consumables that you've purchased, where, when, and the price? You can. Over the last 10 years, please raise your hand. Can you tell me how much you've spent on your mortgage, on your rent, on healthcare, on transportation, education, at the granular level for the last 10 years? I'm not seeing any hands being raised. Can you tell me how much kilometers you've commuted with a granular breakdown of every mode of transport for the last decade? Once again, please raise your hands. To confirm, no one has. I can tell you that data has been collected directly and indirectly with ease. We are surrounded by trillions of data points. Each and every event in our lives creates valuable micro data points. Each day, 329 million terabytes of data is created. It is projected that by the end of this year, 2024, 120 zettabytes of data will be created. Data will become the new resource that needs to be processed, creating information, driving economic decisions on an individual basis, organizations, the nations, and the entire planet. That's the new age of economics. Those who harness the huge data pools and extract the valuable information will, of course, become the leaders. Future decisions at all levels will be driven by new, innovative, advanced data sets which never existed before. The power of AI, of course. We will need to harness this new power. AI will be used, of course, for extraction of knowledge and information embedded in these global data sets. This will fundamentally improve decision-making, but most critically, in an instant. Not with time lags of a week, a month, or years, which we are all operating at. AI will be able to classify, sort, label enormous amounts of data for both individuals, households, and the nation. In an instant, at the fraction of cost of which it is done today. Generative AI, of course, will allow us to plan over multiple time horizons in advance and generate a sequence of actions This predictive power of AI, as you will see in a bit, will ensure that it improves allocation of resources. So let us take a quick look at consumption habits. Massive data pools exist out there. Consumption can be mapped at a granular level with ease. This is already happening here in the UK, for example, in the power sector, with smart meters. Each of our power consumption per household, or local community, and the nation is now mapped. Some of you may be aware that there's a 50% discount on energy between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. on a Sunday. If you're not, now you do. Why is this critical? The power companies are mapping supply and demand, evening out our ability, improving economic decisions. We will need to do this in the area of food. Why? Each year, approximately 1/3 of all food that is produced goes to waste. This is approximately 1.3 billion tons, or $1 trillion US. Did you know that can feed 2 billion persons? Well, guess what? That's the expected growth in the population between now and 2050. Let us now move on to the accumulation of wealth. The sticky point, I call it. Why is that so? Well, as I said, with the commodification of information, the restructuring of markets, we will have a global market information exchange. We will need to. Companies that are the most valuable today and those that will be the most valuable in the future will not be driven primarily by goods and services. They'll be driven by the ability to capture huge data, but most importantly, process that new huge data as a resource, create information. This is quite interesting. Why? We're going to see a flip or reverse. Humans will no longer influence technology the way we have, but instead, technology will influence us all. It's already happening. I want you to close your eyes, just for a moment. Imagine a world without electricity. I'm looking at you. All the eyes are not shut. Without automobiles. Without computers. Without mobile phones. Without the internet. These were the major technologies that has pushed beyond boundaries in the last 100 years. And what has it done? It has significantly changed our consumption, production, and accumulation of wealth. Now open your eyes. I'm still looking at you. And visualize that in 2050, the amount of cargo that is produced, shipped, and consumed in 365 days took us 25 years to do that. This will affect everyone in this room. Kids, your grandkids. To be honest, it will affect all 10 billion of us. We will have to produce more with less. pushing beyond boundaries, unleashing the limitless power of information and technology. Thank you.